Good afternoon, good evening, good day, whatever the time this episode finds you. So this is the Potter's House Collection, and we bring you live and nice content that is able to uplift your spirit, especially if you're a Potter's House member, Potter's House disciple. There's a lot of stuff going on the internet, and most of the time we find ourselves, watching all type of stuff because we are not creating our own content. So the platform, the reason for the platform is for us to create content that is able to uplift us, things that we're able to control. We can share vision, talk about evangelism, salvation, conversion, so. But for this couple of episodes, we're going to be interviewing believers that have been changed, they have been transformed, they are saved, they are radically converted, and they're going to be sharing, their conversion experience, with us. So the previous episode, so it's going to be in the link below. So you want to make sure that you can also go watch that one. So I encourage everybody. So please do subscribe to the channel, and I'll be very much happy for you to do that. And as well, do like and share it with somebody, new convert, a family member, and you never know what God is able to do through this testimony. So this is episode number 2, and we have a special guest by the name of Kunas, or we can say Rudisha. So welcome, Sister Kunas. So it's a joy for us to have you on. In fact, episode number 1 is like you are still testing out. Episode number 2 is the main thing. What do you say?
I thought episode 2 was also testing out. But
okay. Very good. So I want to dive into your life, and we want to understand who's Kunas, what Kunas went through, how Kunas came to God, how Kunas got saved, how Kunas is living for God, so and stuff like that. So okay, let's dive in. So give us a background of yourself. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? So ladies and gentlemen, so we are busy. So we are these live recordings are in Keetmanshoop. So we are from the Keetmanshoop congregation. I'm the pastor here. So, but what we're gonna be doing in the future, so we wanna be recording, people from other churches, even pastors and stuff like that, so that we can have a diverse range of what is busy happening, especially in our fellowship here in Namibia. Okay, Kunas, the floor is yours. Talk to us.
Okay, good evening, guys. My name is Rudisha April, but mostly known as Kunas. I was born in Keetmanshoop, but I grew up in Ces. I'm 22 years old. Yeah, but I would say how do I grew up and all those things. I would say I grew up as the only child and I was raised by my aunt, because my mom was the only breadwinner, so she had to go out and go out and work for us. Yeah, so I grew up as the only child, just me and my aunt. I would say I was a quiet child, but the naughty type of quiet. Yeah, so I was more of an introvert growing up alone. I found it difficult to mingle with people because I never knew how to interact with other people. But yeah, I started my primary school in Chess until grade 6, and then grade 7 I went to Oganja, came back grade 8 to Chess, and then grade 9 I came to Keetmanshoop, and then I finished grade 12 there, and then I moved on to university.
Okay, very good. So, but last week we were doing the episode with Yalis, and Yalis said he was raised by his mom. He stayed with his mom, raised by his mom, plus other uncles. How is it like not to be raised by your biological parent or your mother? Was it any difference of you for you, or it's just like, okay, this is life, I'm a child, I'm moving on?
I wouldn't say it was much of a difference, because I knew the reasons why my mom was not there. Since a young age, I already knew, okay, this is the reason why she's there. This is the reason I can't stay with her. So if she comes holidays, I try to spend more time with her. So my aunt raised me like as her own child. So I felt like that was the person that understood me since I was young. Like she knew me. I did not even need to say anything. If you look at my face, you knew, okay, now I'm hungry, now I'm angry, now I'm sad. So for me, that's the person that personally knew me.
Okay.
So for me, it was just normal.
Yeah, but was it a bit awkward? How often will your mom go and come back?
She would mostly just come back on December's, and then if
So the whole year.
yeah, the whole year, or if she gets a chance, maybe those second semesters, March, April, those holidays, if they allow her. Maybe she didn't come December, so then they will give her that one off.
Yeah.
So, but mostly it was December.
Okay. So, but then how was the relationship like? You know, it was between you and your mom. You know, when she, I mean, a person been gone like for 11 months, 12 months, and she comes, maybe be there like for a week or 2 weeks or a month. Did you find it difficult as a child to relate to her, or it was like, okay, it's fine, it's my mom, you know, I can spend enough time with her, you know, type of stuff? Or was the thing say, hey, maybe life would be much more better if you're around?
I wouldn't say I found it difficult to connect with her. So, for me, it was easier if she comes back. Then it's like she never went away.
Yeah.
So we just pick up where she left off. Okay. So the connection was there. Even though most of the times I would miss her, and I was like, as a child, you're wondering, but I wish my mom was here or all that. But for me, I think with my mom, it was more fine. For me, it was an issue when it was with my father, because I felt like it would have been much better if he was more involved in my life. But for my mom, it flowed. Like she comes back, then we just go back to the way.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get into the question of your dad, now you have a situation whereby your mom goes once in a while, she comes once in a while. Then now you have the issue of moving from Chess. Was it here when you schooled?
From Chess to Okanja.
Yeah, so then how was it, you know, moving from, you know, being in Chess going to Okanja? Or it's just like, hey, it's just fine?
For me, it was more difficult because I felt like Chess, it was my home. Everyone knew me. Yeah. I knew everyone. So for me, it was more difficult moving to Okanja because firstly, I'm in a new school. It's actually like grade 7, it's already the end of the year. The other people know each other from grade 1. Yeah. Now it's gonna be difficult for me to fit in because I don't even like talking that much. I'm more reserved to myself. Yeah. And then the other thing was I also had to change from Kwekwe to Afrikaans, so that was also a whole change for me. Okay. But there I stayed with my family members, so I think it was okay. Yeah. But it was now moving from a house where it was just me and my aunt to our house where there are 3 or 4 of us. Yeah. It was difficult for me to fit in because I found myself isolating more, and then now the people are like, I trying to push me. It's like sort of I'm pushing them away. Yeah. But then
your aunt went with you, or you just?
No, my aunt stayed. I moved to another aunt of mine, who's my mom's older sister.
Oh, okay. Okay, so but it's because most of the time we hear, especially children relocating, you know, it's always a little bit of a difficult for them to. But I feel like at that stage, does it not feel like does it feel like I'm not understood more, or is like, man, I just have to go with the flow? You know, how is your emotion like being at those type of stages? Is your emotions troubled? Is your emotion stable? Where's your emotions during that time?
I think during that time my emotions were, I would say, troubled, because now I have to express myself more. Yeah. Because back it says my aunt knew me, I don't need to say anything now. These are people that I need to get familiar with. I need to express how I actually feel. Yeah. And then the other thing was also I sort of, it's like the family dilemma is already there. You're feeling like more of an outsider, even though they tried really hard to make you feel part of this family. Yeah. But personally, I somehow felt like an outsider. It was only during the end of the year I connected more. Yeah. But I think emotionally, I was to say affected a lot. Yeah. Which actually led to me isolating more, which even worsened the situation.
Okay. So, but tell me, how did the absence of your dad affect you as a girl child?
Yeah. I would say it really had a huge influence on my life. Yeah. Like until the day I was safe to say, it really affected me to a sense of there was even a point in my life I felt like I am not worthy enough to be his child. Like I felt like I was not loved enough. Doesn't matter if the people around me showed me more love. Yeah. I felt like I was not loved enough. I was not, what should I say, showed more affection enough. Yeah. And then even when I was talking with my other siblings, they were like, but no, my father cares more about me than them. But I'm like, but I did not see that back.
Yeah.
Even though I might not be there and then he might say to them, I did not personally see that.
Yeah.
So
But-
it really affected me.
Yeah, but he wasn't there from the get go, or he wasn't just there after you were like at a certain stage of your life.
He was not there from the get-go.
Oh.
So it was like
But you see him from time to time.
Yeah, he would come because he also had family members in church, so he would come to church. Yeah, and then I think there was also a time that my aunt, when I was in Windhoek for holiday, she was like, I must go see my father. So I would see him if we are in the same town.
Yeah.
So we would see each other. Or he might be at the family house in church, and then he might say, go come over, or my mom might say, or my aunt might say, go say hi to your father. So.
Yeah, but describe that for me. There's a part of you that longs to see him, and there's a part of you that is also angry, sort of like resentful for him. So how do you put those two together? And let me say, for example, you are told to see your dad, you know. How is the conversations like? What is your reaction like, you know? Do you show it to him in your actions, in what you say, that, you know, I just wish you were there, or are you at a place whereby I just wish, you know, you just realize that your actions are busy ahead of me? How is it to be at a place whereby you really love this person, you really need this person, but also at the same time you are kind of disappointed in how they are doing stuff?
I think as a child, you long to be. So whenever he was around, I would pour out, like, even though I was shy, I would try my best to show the kind of affection, maybe hang on him, or like try to be more close to him and all when he's there. But as the older I grew up, like the more older I got, I sort of started becoming more angry.
Yeah.
Because now for me it was like, why as your child do I have to fight to get your affection?
Yeah.
So now it was more a thing of, the older I got, I became more distance because I got more angry. I was like, I'm tired of trying to fight for your affection, so let me just keep my distance. Even if he said, no, come over for the holiday, I might be there, but like emotionally I was not there. Like, because I felt like, no man, I'm not a child at this point to try to fight for your affection. So it was really hard. So like, I would try, like personally in myself, I would yearn to have that. You could see kids like playing with their fathers and whatnot, and then when I go holiday time, I would tell myself, no, if I go this holiday, I will go do this and this with my father. And then when I come there, it's like I think we have sort of the same personalities.
Yeah.
It's like we sort of don't know how to interact with people.
Yeah.
Until a certain level. We can come until a certain level, but from there we really sort of don't know. So it's like the two of us, it's like we sort of rebel if one doesn't try hard enough. Yeah, so it was more difficult. But I sort of said, I tried to cope with it, to say I understand, but I was still angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I sort of diverted the anger that I had for him onto my stepmom, because I felt like she was the reason. But actually later on I found out that she was actually the one that brought us together, because me and my father, we had the same like type of behavior, and she was the glue that tried to bring us together.
So but then now when you say you're angry with her, you showed the attitude, you learned listen.
For me, when I look back, I'm like, you're behaving like this. Or like I would literally, like if she's in the same area of room as me, I would be angry. It's like I don't even listen to the conversation whatever they're having. If someone doesn't take me and say, give me a praat or this was go do what. And then it's like when they're not there, I will mingle with the kids. The moment they come home, I'm off to my room. And I'm just there in the room. If it's just me, her and my father at home, I'll just be there in my room, maybe come out, eat, clean the house, and then go back in. I don't have any conversations. If she asks something, there were also times that they were saying like I had some sort of a facial expression that I did not know I was showing, but it was like whenever she talks to me, it's like sort of attitude. And then I'm also wondering, but why is she angry with me now? Because she thinks I'm giving her attitude, and I'm thinking like she doesn't like me. So it was all of it commotion.
So they say the face is a reflection of the heart.
Yeah.
That if the heart is not fine, you can see it in the face. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think it's those type of stuff. And the sad part about it is that one thing can go wrong. One thing can go wrong in a person's life, especially when one is young, and it leaves so unanswered, questions, and it just begin to even affect so many things. That now here's a person that loves you, but you feel like they're the problem, but they're actually trying their best to try to. So, but let's talk about that introvert thing. So you are describing it as a personality, like this is just how you are as a person, but tell me, what is your reaction when you're around people? It's like or even back then, maybe now that you're saved, we'll talk about maybe how you're coping with it. But tell me, before being saved, what do you feel in the inside when you're around people, or it's just a natural feeling when you feel like you just want to be by yourself?
I would say it was a sort of a natural feeling because it was what I was used to. I was used to being alone. I was used to just being with one person.
So the thing is that what you're saying is that being an introvert started somewhere. It was sparked by something.
Yeah, it was. For me, I felt like growing up, like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. I felt like I was a talkative. I don't think I was this quiet.
Yeah.
I felt I was a talkative child.
Yeah.
But then just me being with my aunt, and my aunt was a strict one. That you don't really talk a lot unless she asks something.
Yeah.
So it was a thing of don't say this in front of this person, don't ask this, and don't like. So it was, and then I did not know like when do I speak, when do I ask, when do I say what. So it was sort of let me just keep quiet instead of me saying something that might make her angry or that might switch off this whole situation of the whole conversation. So
because it's eye-opening you saying that, because sometimes you find like people say I'm an introvert, sort of like that's just how they were born, without it being like it was sparked by something. I was listening to an interview at one of the most famous soccer player, Terry Henry. So the guy said by the age of 13 he was away from home, but his time at home before 13, because the guy was playing football from that time. So his father was this type of a guy. So the father and the mother divorced when he was 8. So, but his father was a very difficult person to please. Okay. So then now, like one time, apparently the guy scored 6 goals in a match. When they came in the car, the father is pointing out mistakes. Like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, wasted that ball. Like you literally ask him, "Are you happy with your performance tonight?"
So he was supposed to score 10 goals.
I don't know, he was just very difficult, to please. So, but then now he said when he growing up, he didn't know how to deal with emotions, and he became a people's pleaser. That he will not celebrate when he scores, but he celebrate when he assists for somebody to score. And it was very difficult for him. So he said that the only time Thierry cried, it was during COVID, when he was left to himself, because sort of like all of those childhood stuff begin to come, And I feel like when trauma, stuff that people go through, most of the time it really begins to turn us into the people that we become. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's a thing whereby I do not know how to handle myself, because this thing it started, and it's at a point whereby I also can't control it, So but then so your aunt didn't have other children besides you staying with her?
No, I think the first child only came when I was around grade 3 or 4.
Oh,
I think grade 4, like grade 4. So.
But then was she beating you, or she was just strict?
I think she was just strict, sort of, to put in manners, because like growing up, the environment, all the other children were it's like they really don't have manners. So I think it's also how they grew up.
Yeah.
It's like it was strictly rules. So it's like she was just trying to put that into me to be respectful and all that.
Yeah.
So, but I also see it from her point of view, but for me it was sort of limiting me as a child. And then I was also wondering sometimes, like, I can't say this, but when someone else's child say it, it's okay. But for her, it was like, because it's not her child, she can't control the child. But for me, she could sort of control what I say and what I do. So.
Also, then that initially formulated into your personality,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So maybe now, if you have to look back from your story and looking at your dad, it might be that he might also have went through something that turned him into, you know, an introvert.
Yeah, but he's not sort of an introvert. I think he's an extrovert. He just wouldn't say finds a healthy way to express his emotions. So he would say more brush it off or put it as a joke. So
okay, very good. So, but then, but what is the good and the bad part of being an introvert?
I wouldn't say there's a good part to say to it. I don't say there's a good part. It's like you just enjoy being alone, but there's also loneliness to it. So it depends. But I would say it's more bad because you are more alone. It's like your thoughts are more out loud. So I think it's better to be.
What is the maximum time you can be by yourself?
The maximum time I can be by myself. It's
even a whole day.
Let's say 2 days.
Without being bothered about someone else.
Yeah. I think the second day I will start like I need someone to talk to. I need someone to share this joke or whatever. But I think even a whole day I can go without even people being there in the house and not me interacting with them. It will be a whole day.
So somebody can be in the other room and it doesn't really.
As long as I'm in my room, in my space, comfortable, whatever I'm doing, then.
But then in those times, what do you do? You just thinking, or you just pack your clothes? For
me, it's maybe thinking, listening to music, dancing, watching movies, just anything to keep me entertained.
Okay, so but where does it get difficult now? Does it get difficult in staying with people? Does it get difficult because you're afraid of offending them? Or is it just now something that you sort of like, you just got used to being alone?
I think it's the thing of, I got used to being alone, and the other one is also offending them. Because I have to be very comfortable with you to be an extrovert, to be talkative and whatnot. If I'm very comfortable with you, I'll be the one that is talking more, joking more and whatnot. But if I'm not comfortable with you, I'll be more in my room. So for me, it's a thing of, I'm afraid of whatever I may say might hurt you, so it might worsen the relationship from where it was already.
Okay. So now you having an experience of being an introvert, what do you think? What would be your how does other people who are the opposite of introverts, how do they have to relate to introverts? To sort of like help them be comfortable and help them open up. Because I think the issue is that when you stay with someone that talks and you are a person who doesn't talk, it always feels like you are not meeting each other. You know, you are frustrated for not being given your own time. The other person is frustrated for not talking. I'm gonna say, because sometimes you find like, okay, we might not be talking about serious stuff, but you just get to sit around in the same room. Talk about anything that is there, whatever the whole case is, or you find some people, you greet them, how are you? Fine. Person keep quiet. How's your day? Fine. And now to some people, it looks like you don't want to talk to me, but then to you, who's an introvert, that might not be the impression that you're giving them. So what do you think? What are the certain things that people need to know, or how does a person that's not introvert can properly relate, to an introvert without taking them off, if I have to say like that?
I would say, based on my experience, from the person that is not an introvert, I would say you can try as much as you can to talk, but also give the person the time to be like in the shower and whatnot. They might eventually come out. You can talk to them and then give them time to go back into the shower to say. But for me, I will be more advisable to the ones that are introverts. It's like try as much as you can to like come out and try give your part also. Because for me, I felt like it was not an issue of I don't want to talk. I always had the issue of I don't know what to talk about.
Okay.
So it's not an issue of I can come and sit there and we can have a conversation. For me, it's like okay, this is A, we talk about this. After A, what we talk about this.
Yeah.
So it was like I rather say whatever I need to say and then go back into my room, then us sitting there and then later on stories come out that did not need to be there.
Yeah.
It's more of what needs to be talked about, what not so.
But do introverts try to hide certain things? A part of them that they don't want people to know?
Yeah, most of the time.
Like maybe they say the emotions, the brokenness, the pain, them being seen for who they are in the inside. Because now when you begin to speak, so people are able to hear and be able to read certain things. So do you think, not to say that initially that's your experience, but you feel like there's a certain extent whereby being an introvert is a way of defending or covering up the real person?
Yeah, I would say it's like 80% of the time it's also that. It's like you don't want to speak too much in order to show what you are hiding or who you are, or because it's like you guys start talking, the conversation is over, and then the next thing that comes out, the more you talk, then you start to express yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like it also comes from a place of hurt. You don't want to express too much, so that person cannot have too much of information to hurt you.
Yeah.
So it also comes from that of being defensive, of putting up a wall in order to I can't say too much, so that you cannot have too much information to use against me.
So it's interesting that you say those type of stuff, and what is it that I wanted? There's something that went through my mind now, man. So but okay, yeah. If you found a person that was okay, Kunas, well, because I think to a certain extent, what makes the relationship sour is the lack of communication when people get to understand one another. But let me say, a person who comes to an interview and say, to me, I'm not easily offended. I wouldn't really mind you being yourself. So just be yourself. I'll be comfortable with that. I'm not gonna be. Do you think that will that help, or do you think like the opening up begins with trust? That you first need to trust the person to feel comfortable with them, or do you need to feel a level of comfortability with that person in order for you to start expressing yourself?
It's both trust and then comfortability, because I need to trust that I can be comfortable around you. So it's a thing of whatever, I might say something in a conversation and then I'll see how you react.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, no, they don't react well to this, so okay, let me keep this out. And if anything that comes out of my mouth, if you don't react well to it, then I'm like, okay, then I don't say anything at all. So it's also a level of comfortability. For me, it was how comfortable am I with you?
Yeah.
Am I comfortable enough to say a joke and then you will not be offended?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, no, the first joke, they were fine. So let me say the next 2-3 jokes, okay. It's still flowing. So it's like, okay, then next time I can try a little bit more than what I did now.
Yeah.
So
But
also trust and comfortability.
Okay. So but then for me it feels like, I feel like most of the stuff that if we went through something during our childhood, it just becomes like a bad habit. Sort of like we don't like what we have become, but we have learned to live with it.
Yeah.
Let us say, we don't like, but also does not leave too much guilt, in your mind, knowing that, is this person that I came encounter with, could they be questioning why I'm like this? It doesn't leave you with a lot of questions.
And for me, it leaves more questions when the person is like, they are comfortable enough to sort of say they trust you with all of their information or not, and then they want you to be comfortable, but you are still at the stage of testing. So it's like it puts more guilt in you to say, but this person is this comfortable with me, why can't I be that comfortable with them? Or why can't I share enough? I also get that of why am I not sharing enough? But for me it's like, is it really a use to say something?
Yeah. But then now, where do you think, where does the break need to come? What makes it difficult when you see that the other person is sincere and the other person is coming forth, but there's still a part of you that is withholding. What do you think? What need to trigger for you to be what you really want to become instead of being an introvert?
I don't know what I would say what that needs to trigger, but you need to see sense of the love and the, should I say, the effort of the next person.
Yeah.
You need to see it through their eyes, not
Yeah.
yours. Then you will realize, but no, this person is really trying hard.
Yeah.
Like you also need to try as hard as they are trying in order to meet them halfway, because this relationship will not work if they are trying but you are not trying. So it needs to be a place of where you meet in the middle.
Okay, but it feels like something that we learn and something we can unlearn, you know. But the unlearning part is it more difficult
to unlearn?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more difficult to unlearn because sort of it can be easy and it can be difficult at the same time, because it's like I can share and then I come to a place in my mind where I'm like, but is it really this part of my life? Is it really necessary? Sometimes it's like you become so usual that even things that were supposed to be important that you need to share with the person, you're like, it's fine, I don't need to share it. So then that person becomes that, because like you were supposed to trust them with the information and you were supposed to be comfortable, but you don't.
So, but then what I'm hearing you say is like, it's more of a trust issue to a high extent than it is for anything else. That the other person can come forth, the other person can want to get closer, but it's like within you, because of everything else, it's like, okay, do I trust them enough?
Yeah, it's highly a trust issue. It's like, can I trust you to not hurt me? Can I trust you to be comfortable around you? Can I trust the fact that you are my safe space to say?
Yeah. So but can a person wake up the next day, like maybe say, you know, like these days I've been struggling with, my wife was trying to get me off coke. I've been drinking it too much, you know. Then yesterday I drank like the last coke that was in the fridge. I drank it in the morning, and I said I'm not gonna drink coke anymore, you know. And the whole day of today there was a time whereby the temptation was there, but I just said, I'm not gonna drink, but you know. So, but then also today is one of those days that I didn't drink. So, but being an introvert, can one take the same approach to simply say, this introvert thing, man, it ends today, whereby I'll put myself out there, you know, I'll put this distrust thing, you know, I'll be a person that trusts quickly. I'll be a person that laughs with people. I will be a person that I'll speak to somebody first, you know, or do you feel like it's very impossible to do?
It's like you can put it on. It's like you can put it on pause to say, depending on the person, but it will still be there. It's like you have become too used to it. It's still like it becomes part of you. So if I'm around the people that I'm comfortable with, I'll be talkative. I'll be jolly. I'll be the one doing the most of the talking, doing most of the jokes and whatnot. But the moment I come to an environment where I don't know the people, then it's like back to square one. Where I don't talk now, to take time to see, do I trust these people? Is it okay to say whatever I used to say with my friends? So it's sort of something that is there. Yeah, I would say it's sort of something that will always be there with you, but it depends. To say you can be an extrovert, but it depends around certain people. Yeah, and there's also times that you can be an introvert, and then you come to people that you don't know, and then you'll be extrovert. Okay. But then there are certain situations.
It's just the energy.
Yeah. So it depends also the energy.
But is it not a burden to be too much in your head? Like you are. It's like seeing people. They're busy talking, doing whatever stuff, and all you are doing is just you're observing. You know how they speak, how do they say it, this and this, that and that, and you are trying to process. You are sort of like they are doing the talking audibly, but you are doing the talking in your mind.
Yeah, because it's like it's like you are having a personal conversation based on the conversation. It's like you are filtering, and then you are seeing whatever it's not okay after the filtering to come out. So maybe you might say 2 or 3 things in the conversation. It's after all the filtering has been done. But I would say it's more of a burden. I think you become used to it, but it's a burden when it comes to dealing with situations. Because now it's like all the conversations about your problem, you're having it in your mind. So there's no second or third opinion to say. Maybe I might see from my side and think like I'm in the deepest bit. But then from someone else's point of view, they might see a solution. And now me not sharing only things that it's like I can't get out of this. And then the moment I share with the other person, the person but like, have you tried this? Have you done this? So now you see. So it's like it's a burden when it comes to dealing with issues or all that. But normal conversations wise, it's okay. It's just like when it comes to dealing with problems.
Okay, so let me ask this. So how do you find it if you have to express yourself to maybe something that you don't like? Does it take some time? Do you have to be cautious in terms of what you say, or you observe certain things for some time, then you just go off, gun blazing, or how does it happen if you have to, not initially something, but as long whatsoever communicate, whether you like something, you want it to be done in a specific way, you don't want it to be done in a specific way. So how do you fully come to a place of self-expression?
I think it takes for me a while to fully express myself. For me, it's like if I don't like something, I would rather keep quiet and let it go. It's like if I don't like whatever you say, I will walk away from you. Expressing in something like how I feel or whatever, it takes time for me to fully come to a point of saying it. I might show it of affection, but with the word saying it will take time. So I'm still learning how to.
But in that moment where you are finding the right time to say it, does it not affect you more?
It sort of affects me more to say, but I think it's like it puts me more in a place of why didn't you? It's like I wanted to say something at that moment, and then I was sort of too afraid to say it, and now the moment has passed, and I was like, but now that person sees it as maybe something light, or maybe they said something and then I was supposed to respond in a certain way, but I did not. So now it's like I don't care, or I don't feel about them the same way they feel about me. However, maybe it was the same response, but the words they just come out all the time. So it also feels burdensome. Like it's like later on you're scolding yourself, like, but why didn't you say that, or why didn't you express yourself that way, or why didn't you say you did not like it, and now you're just angry with the person, and now the person also doesn't know they did something wrong because you did not speak out. So.
Okay, so if you are dealing with it, because I'm finding it very much interesting. But how often do you cry if you're into it? Because now you have so much stuff go on in your head and go on in your heart. That is crying more common to introverts, because it seems like to a certain extent that's the only thing you can do?
I think it's more common because it's like the only, you find it as the only way of expressing yourself. So it's like you would cry, and then it's like you will cry, have a conversation with yourself, and then get up and move on in other vibes, because it's like you don't want to express it. It also sometimes comes to a thing of you don't want to be a burden on someone else. So it's like, let me handle my situation, let me cry about it, and let me move on. Instead of me someone said it's something like, I have dealt with this enough to handle my pain, but I can't put this on someone else because I don't know how they will handle it. So it's that thing of, I know how it feels, so let me carry the burden instead of me telling someone else, and now there's a thing of information or stuff that they can't handle because they do not know.
Okay, so let me put it this way, a person is staying with an introvert. What are the signs they need to look at? What signs do they need to look at to help the introvert to communicate? Let me say, for example, you are sitting with something that you do not like, or there's something on your chest, something on your mind. And will they be visible signs that something is not right, or you are looking for an outlet to express, sort of like someone that is trying to cry out for help, they are not saying it with their mouth, but everything inside of them is like, man, you not just ask me how I am, or stuff like that, So what are some of is there any signs that can show that an introvert is seeking for help, or seeking for attention, or seeking for affection, whatsoever? Because now you find it difficult to say, but then you find someone who's genuinely at a place whereby they want to help. So what signs do they need to look at in order for that connection to happen?
I don't know. I would say the signs are, it's more of isolation, but it's also sort of, it's like you can feel the heaviness around the person, but it's isolation. You don't want to be around. It's like you would be that person that maybe chit chats now and then, but when you are going through stuff, it's like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to be on my own. I just want to sleep, or just be in my room. Mostly, I think most of the signs are sleeping. Like you just want to sleep, to forget about it, to silence out the voices in your head. Like that's the main thing. But I would say how to bring the person out, or how to create situation for them to talk is, I would say create a comfortable space for them to express themselves. Like sometimes we just pressure like, but if that environment wasn't created since day one, it's like I don't know how to express myself, because you never created the environment for me to express myself. Because every time I try to express myself, it's like it's always an issue. Even the small things, it's like someone, like a child comes to you and says, no, wie so gemaakt, or what, of these way pool. As a kid, why as a child are you having issues, or why are you as a child reacting to this and this and this way? So it's like you are not creating an environment for the child to speak. So it's like, let me just keep all my information to myself instead of bothering my parents with this information, or whoever I'm staying with this information. So it's like create an environment for them to speak. I saw it, I think I was staying with one of the family members. They have a thing of, like the aunt would just come in the room and then she would just sit and then she'll ask like, who was Kelsata? What did you do? So what happened to make the day interesting? And then she will continue with the question, how did you feel about it? How did it make you feel? That space, it's like, try to create that space for the person to express themselves. Because it's like, they might not say it out straight, this is how and how I feel, but the more the questions come, they'll be feeling like, okay, no, this person cares somehow, so let me just try.
For me, on my personal experience, dealing with introverts is like you sort of like it later on go feel like you care for the person more than the person cares for you, or you want to talk to them more, but they don't want to talk to you as often. Sort of like you're at a place whereby you are busy begging for a relationship or a conversation. You know what I'm saying? And now it feels like for some, and I think one of the things that I'm reading, that I'm understanding what you're saying is that be patient with an introvert, because sometimes, let me say for example, imagine like you have to spend like 20 minutes just asking random questions to really get a person to speak. So then now it feels like, I'm putting so much into this person, if she wanted to tell me or he wanted to tell me, we would have just said it from the beginning, and those type of stuff. And most of the time you get to deal with the same thing over and over, and I feel like it brings a person in a place whereby if you're not careful, you can be very much, you can be very much impatient to say amen, this person, and frustrated over the person, because for me, I'm a person whereby, if you're not happy about something, say it. You know what I'm saying? And sort of like I'm in a place whereby I know myself to say, if I knew that what I was doing was wrong, I could have changed. You know what I'm saying? If I knew that what I was doing to you for a long time, I could have paused and say, let me stop doing this. But now you are sitting in a place whereby a person comes to you after some time and they tell you, what you did to me in 3 months, it's like, but how do you keep something for 3 months? You know what I'm saying? You still do not know me, that if you told me that I did A, B, and C to you. I could have taken time to apologize and to say, okay, what's gonna be the way forward, you know? And sometimes a little bit, but I think it's a conversation worth having because I'm stipulating a lot of stuff. Because sometimes it's at a place whereby you just feel like the person that they don't wanna have a conversation, and it looks like the relationship has been pushed from one side, you know, and it can come to a place whereby they say, okay, you know what, they don't want to talk, you know, and I think it's also that thing whereby when you are not an introvert and you stay with an introvert, you also become, you are anxious. The next person is anxious, like, oh, I have to go home again and be in that environment. Good to say. It's like this person is just looking for somebody to speak to. How's the day? You know, how are things going? Rah, 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 all type of stuff. And the other person is sort of thinking, my goodness, sort of like everybody's like nervous being around themselves and stuff like that, you know. So, but I think
I have to go back home and keep up a conversation.
Yeah, you know. So, but that's why for me, I strongly believe that, you know, there has to be a theoretical way for us to unlearn certain things. Like for me personally, one thing that affected me was I grew up in a very closed family. My mom and dad, you know, at the time, to a certain extent when I was busy growing up, there may be one or two family members, you know. So then when my mom and my dad separated, so the environment was still just the same. They're just close people like my cousin, my sister, and all type of stuff with my stepmother. But that affected me so much because I came to an extent whereby family members who like they always like talk about certain stuff, you know, your child is this, your child is that, and as a result, the only people I considered in my mind with my family were those people that I really had close relations with. That somebody could be my cousin, but if you're not, if we never had a close relationship when I was young, then I still view you like a stranger. Even to this day, that's one of my greatest. That's one of, like for me, I'm a type of a person whereby I do not care when a person doesn't care. Like it doesn't affect me when you don't call me, when you don't you know, when you don't show concern or when you don't help me with anything. I'm always gonna find my own way. I'll do my own thing. I'm not gonna be dependent on somebody. But then later on, you realize that there are some people, they are making an effort to really get to you. You know what I'm saying? But also now you are so much disconnected into the emotions that you don't really care. You know. And sometimes I find it very and it's not like you do not want, but it just feels very awkward to connect to them, you know. Understand? So me, you know, starting conversations and all type of stuff, you know, those things are very much easy. But when it comes to family, like let me say, even there's a part of me whereby church people, you know, I can talk, witnessing to somebody, a stranger. But if it's at home, you know, I get very much uncomfortable if people I do not know or people that I'm not that comfortable with come to our house, or I have to go to their house. That's why I don't really visit much. I don't really allow people, you know, people that are not used to come to our house. Sort of like I just do not know how to be myself around people, you know. So, but if people that are church people, someone that I'm trying to win over or something like that, you know, it begins to become it's just moving. But somebody that, you know, sometimes I saw one of my cousins. She was calling me, and she's a little bit elder than me. But she'll be calling, texting, and all type of stuff. And then click, like, man, this person really wanna have, you know, a relationship with me. But it's just that what happened in the past has become so part of me that now I need to sort of like for me, even 6 months can pass by without calling a family member. It doesn't really bother me. It's like not that I don't care, but it doesn't concern me. You know what I'm saying? And I think like there's you know, like childhood trauma, they have affected us so much that sometimes it even begin to destroy things that can be good, you know. Okay, so but I think we've digested that. I've learned so much about introverts, so from here I can know how to, you know, properly relate to them, because my sister is almost the same way, you know. And sometimes, you know, when she was staying with us, it was a little bit frustrating, you know, because if something is wrong, just tell me. You know, I can cross the ocean for you to make it happen. You know, you can tell a person has a problem, but they are not just telling you what the problem is. Don't that say? You sort of like do your best to make them look like you care, but over and over again you realize they don't see the same way. They don't see you the same way you are trying them to see you. Sort of like they don't trust you enough. They don't communicate enough. They don't listen much to what you're busy telling them and trying to help them to get out of where they are, you know. And sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating, and sometimes like, man, I was trying to laugh with you the other day, but you didn't want. Now you want us to laugh. Now you want us to talk, you know. And I feel like, and sometimes in the things that when you fully do not understand all of these dynamics, these people with these different personalities, they will start waging this unnecessary war. You know what I'm saying? It needs to become a problem. So it's like, okay, we didn't speak yesterday, now you want to speak, then you avoid. Then now they want to get to you, then you also get to avoid it. It needs to become a problem. Okay, but tell us, I think we have exonerated that part, and I've really gotten much. Okay, so tell us then what events led to you getting saved?
I would say, okay, the events that led to me being saved, I felt it was more of yearning for love, but it's also my sins. Growing up, I grew up in Catholic, but my aunt had a strict rule of faith. She was really a faith woman. Doesn't matter whatever was around her. She was prayerful. She made sure every night we prayed, every morning we prayed. We would read the Bible together. So that the dynamic was there of knowing God, fearing God, and all that. So growing up, I had that in my mind. But as you go through life, and then you come to know sin and all that, at the back of my mind, I knew I was, okay, this is sin. Yeah. This is wrong.
Yeah.
But then also the thing of you are hurt, you are trying to go through life, trying to find yourself, trying to ease the pain of sin, to sort of say to cover it up. And then, so now it was a thing of, I felt really, like I felt too deep into sin to a point where I felt like, if I die today, I will go to hell. Yeah. So it was that crying out, even before me knowing what it meant to be saved. Yeah. Because I felt like being born again was only for certain churches. Yeah. So I was like, I know it's not for me. Yeah. But there was still the yearning of God. I need freedom. Yeah. I need love. I need like that relief or to say, and then I don't know how I should get it. Yeah. But whatever you send, it's like a send help for me. Yeah. Because I don't know how to do it on my own.
So that was literally your...
It was literally my prayer, like for, I would say since grade 11. Yeah. Then I became saved my second year of university. So like, there was literally my cry every night when I sleep, like, God, I need freedom. Like there was also one night, like before I was sick, I dreamed, and then it's like, I dreamed that I was in hell. So I was like, if this is like, if you die, this is where you're going. Yeah. So there's no way out. So it was like, then I was invited to church. Yeah. Then I came, then I heard about the gospel, and I was like, oh, so this is, Jesus Christ is the freedom. This is the freedom that I was seeking for. Yeah. This is the way out that I was seeking for. And I was like, then let me give my life to Christ.
Okay. So, but then, so I mean, you when you came in church, you connected real quickly. You caught it so fast. What was the because sometimes you look at some people, like some people take a little bit longer to get it. Some people they take fast to do you think like it's a desperation that this is what I wanted? You know, I wanted God, I wanted salvation, I wanted to I wanted this is the cry that I've been crying for. Now I found it, and now sort of like I'm just going 100% in it. What do you think? What were the dynamics for you?
I think for me it was the crying, like this is the crying, and for me the other thing was also, it's like it's the way out. Like there's no way for me to turn. Yeah. Like Jesus is the way out. So why not give it my all, and then like dive into this Christianity and then give it my all, instead of me being halfway in, because if I'm halfway in, that also means that I'm going back to the same thing that I was trying. Like it's like trying to like asking God to set me free from. So it's like either me being halfway in, halfway out. Let me try it fully and then see if God can really change it.
Very good. Okay, just a second. Geraldino, what time is it now? Is it like an hour already? Still got some time?
An hour.
An hour. Okay, cool.
2022.
Okay. But tell me, so you give your life to God. I don't know if you came on was the Wednesday, Sunday morning, Sunday evening?
I came on a Friday.
For Bible study.
study.
Then you prayed in the Bible study.
No, I came back the Wednesday and then I prayed the Sunday morning.
Then you prayed the Sunday morning. Okay, cool. So tell me. So now here you are. You've given your life to God. Did it not feel the what Christianity entails, like you being faithful to church, being faithul to outreaches, you giving, you loving other people? Did it not feel? Was it not awkward for you, or was it something that was very much easy to do when you gave your life to God?
I would say the more of the coming to church, going to outreaches and all that. I think it was okay till a certain point because it was like I was accustomed to going to church and all.
Yeah.
But I think the difficult part for me it was now the outreaches, like seeing the importance of it, why I need to come, and all that, and then also the thing of now you have to be holy, as God is holy. So all of that was sort of difficult for me to get accustomed to. But other than that, it was okay to say. It was easier to fit in. It was not something that was all weird or awkward or difficult.
Okay. Do you think like the environment made it a little bit easier for you, whereby you come into a church, mostly young people your age, they are vibrant, they're on fire, they're going on outreach. Does that has an impact of making it easy that man, if these people are living like this, why must I live a little bit different from them?
I think that it also played a big part for me to say is like when I heard the people's testimonies and so these young people were set free from things that are similar to mine.
What about whose testimony affected you?
I would say Marshall's one because he was the one that invited me and all.
Yeah.
Because for me it was like if he left all these things, all this life, training and all that, and then he could give his because for me he was the one that was he was radical.
Yeah.
He would be on campus witnessing to people and I'm like but why all this effort? But not knowing that also witnessing to people also sparks up a fire in you. All of those things it really helped me. Coming to morning prayer, he would be the one knocking at my door 4 o'clock saying, get up, get ready, we are going for morning prayer. So being in an environment that where there are also young people that are serving God and then being on fire for God, it also helped me to say, if they can do it, let me try a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Let me put in more effort for God instead of just being like that.
But it's interesting you say that, because sometimes a person gets saved, a person has so much potential in becoming a very good disciple, but sometimes we are reluctant to push them. Imagine somebody coming to 4 o'clock and say, hey Kunas, let's go home morning prayer, But then now sometimes we find like there's a person in our reach to be able to do that to them, but we feel like maybe we are being a burden to them without realizing that the more we push them, the more they get closer to God, So but man. So okay, so let's talk about then maybe lastly about how was the relationship between your parents when you gave your life to God and you being a Catholic? They didn't find it weird for you attending a different church?
I don't think they found it weird. It's like it was unfamiliar, sort of to say, but it was not also something that was too weird. The only issue I would say, they always ask the question then, why don't you go to Catholic? What is the difference between this church and this church? Why, like some of the things, but it was not they were not really purely of they were not angry also to say them. I think the people that were supportive were not, my mom is someone that is quiet, so she doesn't express really how she feels or whatnot. So for me, it was the family members and whatnot, the cousins and what they were my aunt also told me once, she's proud that I chose that decision. Because even before I was safe, I think the family had a personal discussion about me about, because I had this issue of sexuality, so they were also having a discussion of my sexuality. Like, I think a year
But
before.
I didn't want to talk about that, but now since you are bringing it on, so it was an issue at home.
Yeah, it was an issue that they had among themselves. They talked about it, but they never came to me. So my aunt that raised me, I think they had a discussion of, am I really dating girls or am I dating boys? And then my aunt would defend me, and then she came back to me and told me, no, this was a discussion that people were having. And I'm like, okay, and then why didn't anyone tell me? So I think they were more relieved now that, okay, she's not dating girls anymore, now she's safe. So there was sort of that relief, but it was also that thing of, why are you moving out of our church? Why don't you get safe in the Catholic? Why don't you come?
Yeah, but that thing, they told me, the thing of somebody, how do they call it? Do they also call, is it also categorized as homosexuality?
Yeah. It's the same.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, but tell me, but what is the contributing factor that sparked that? Is it still the lack of love, or was it just like, okay, it is just curiosity? I just want to date other girls.
And for me, it was lack of love. So it differs from people to people. Some people might be curiosity.
Yeah.
But for me, it was lack of love because I felt like, firstly, it's like I characterized myself as, okay, I will never be loved from my father. So that one. And then the other thing was also I was raped, so that also played a whole part in the situation, because I felt like men don't know how to love.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, okay, if men don't know how to love, my father doesn't love me. A man did this to me. So why am I putting myself out there? Why don't I try to a woman? Because women know how to love. My mom is there who knows how to, she loved me. My aunt was there to love me. Every woman I met in my life was sort of caring and all that. So why don't I try to a woman instead of men?
I think the homosexuality part is a sad scenario when you know that people are in dating women.
I don't think I found a love, because it was not the love that they could feel. Even though I might have tried hard or not, for a certain period of time it might be like, yeah, you feel good, but they would never feel that burden that I felt, that love, that fatherly love that I needed.
Yeah.
So they would have never been able to feel that. So it was like, it was never sort of resolved until I got to know God. Then I got that fatherly love from God. So I was like, okay, now. But it's like even dating girls also, for me, it was like I was more, for that also, it was more a thing of me being in control, because I never wanted to feel as weak as that moment I felt like when I was raped. I was like, I'm weak, so I never wanted to feel that. So I was like, let me be that guy in the situation to feel more empowered, more strong.
But how, is it when you, let me say for example, when you had they had a discussion among you, did it feel like you let them down? How did that connect to you as a person, knowing that, okay, how I'm living concerns them now, or it bothers them?
For me, I sort of to say I did not really care what they thought. My only people that I really focused on was my mom and the aunt that raised me. So if they had an issue with it, it would have affected me. My mom didn't say anything about it, so I was like, okay, if she doesn't sort of have an issue with it, then I'm fine.
But if she asked, could you have told her your heart?
I'm not sure. I don't think I would have. At that time, I don't think I would have. My aunt asked me, the one that raised me, she asked me, because when the people were talking, she defended me like, no, she's dating boys. And then when we came one-on-one, because she could see the signs, and then she was like, what is really going on? And then at that moment, I felt like I sort of disappointed her. But it was like, I would say it affected, I would say I felt like I disappointed her, but it was not something that I could take, because I was already hurt. I disappointed you, so it's like, let me just continue whatever I'm doing, because I already disappointed you. There's nothing I can do.
And also you also have the fuel in the inside of you that stuff happened, and this is the fuel for me to being happy, to being fulfilled. But it's really I think it's a painful part, because sometimes it's very easy to judge someone that is an homosexual, without understanding that there's a root cause, that forced them to do and to become that, you became comfortable among people, like you being, because now if they begin to discuss it, then there were outside signs that you're really this type of a person. Did it disturb you for some time, or was it a struggle for you to go public? And when you went public, how did it sit with you?
For me, I don't think really I went to public. There were signs when I think my great grandmother cutted my hair, so they realized firstly it was just something they could see on the clothes.
Yeah.
But now I cutted my hair, now it's like this whole transformation. But I felt like I had two lives, sort of to say. When I'm in Keetmans, I'm a whole different person. When I'm that side, so now they were questioning, like, it's like
when you were here, when you were here, you were what?
Like I'm like full on tomboy,
Yeah.
my behavior and all that. And then when I'm with them, I'm more girlish,
yeah.
So now they were like, even the ones that are in Keetmans were asking those ones that said, like, is she also like that then?
Yeah.
So now they were questioning, like, what type of a person is she?
But what triggered that?
Well, I think it was a thing of also not wanting to disappoint them.
Okay.
It's like when I'm with them, I will give the person that you want to see. And then when I'm here, I'll be comfortable with whatever I want to do.
Okay, so if you're able to, because looking into all of your life where you have ended up, if you could give yourself an advice as a young person to save you from most of the stuff that you went through, what would that be?
If I would give myself
if you had a chance to see yourself growing up, your dad not being there for you, you having this thought towards your stepmother, and so forth and so on, the yearning, the crying, the consideration of dating girls, and so forth and so on. If you could speak to yourself in that time, what could you say to yourself?
I would tell myself that firstly, you are loved. Doesn't matter whoever says what, doesn't matter if the next person doesn't show you love, you are loved. And then the other part I'll also say is like it's not your fault, to sort of say there were things going on around my life. They always felt like it was my fault. Like my father not being in my life is like maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm not respectful enough. That's why maybe he doesn't want me around him because I'm not respectful enough, or I'm not kind enough, or I'm always angry. So I would tell myself, that the younger self, that it's not your fault. It's okay to be loved. That's the one thing I felt like. It's like you don't deserve love. So it's like it's okay to be loved. It's okay to express yourself. It's okay to be comfortable around people. It's like you don't always need to put up a wall. Yeah, so be okay to be loved. Be okay to love. It's never your fault. It wasn't your fault. So yeah, and then I would say how will I put it? Yeah, it's like don't always try to do things to impress other people. Yeah. But there was also one thing. I would always try to do something in order to make the other person happy. So
yeah, man. So it's interesting you said that, but I feel like there's a part of you that can help most of your relationships be very okay, and that is the communication part. So how is your communication level now as a person? And I'm not just talking about how are you, fine, how's the day, fine, because I feel like let me say for example, your dad wanna come back, wanna rebuild a relationship. It might be difficult for you to find time and really speak to him from your heart, be it your mother, be it whosoever, sort of like and there are people who are waiting to say, if Kunas can speak from the heart, then I can know what she's going through, and that is going to be able to help, build the relationship. So how's your communication levels now that you said it?
At this point, I would say, I wouldn't even say 50%, but I would say it's better than what it was. I sort of have learned that I should speak up more. Yeah, it's difficult to speak up, but I've learned to tell myself that even though you're not asked, at least try to say, like, this is how I feel, or this is what I'm going through, instead of babbling.
But is it really difficult to say? Or how do you feel when you have to say something, and there's a part of you that it's really a battle. It's a war.
It's like it feels like overwhelming. It's like, should I say it? Should I not say it? How should I say it? There's also the other one. It's like, how would I put, like, which words would be the right words to express how I'm feeling? Like a simple thing is just saying I'm going somewhere. That was also even difficult. It's like you have to find the right way to ask. So it's like it's really a battle, but it's like if you come out to sort of say more out of your mind and just say it, and it will be easier.
Yeah.
So I'm learning that to say, just say it. Yeah.
Okay. Very good, man. Okay, so I think if you can work on the communication much more, because I think like everything we have went through that has made us who we are today is just that it's a bad habit, but we have learned to live in it. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like we need to see it as a bad habit and trying to learn the good habit that advantages us and advantages other people. And I think the more you are used to being in a dark place, the more darkness begin to look like it's light. And when someone on the outside looks like, why in a dark room while it's light? You know what I'm saying? Why not switching on the electricity, the light for you to be able to see what is happening? Okay, so maybe on the final one, so what would be your advice, for a young girl, women in general, so anything that you want to leave with them as we are busy closing the show?
Advice to a young girl or woman in general. I would say, okay. It's like I would say you don't need to put yourself out there to be to feel valuable. Yeah, you don't need to try too hard for other people to value you, because God that created you knows your value. You are. It's like if God gave His only Son for you, then it means you're more than enough. So you don't need to try hard enough. You don't need to do anything sort of to say, to be felt like you are valuable, to feel like you are worth anything. So you are worth it because Jesus Christ died on the cross for you. And then I would also say, love yourself, to a sense, like try as much, like see yourself, but love, when I say love yourself, I say love yourself through God's eyes. Like see yourself through God's eyes, mostly because we love ourselves based on what people say and what not. I would say love yourself through God's eyes. Yeah.
Very good, man. Mr. Kunas, this was a blast of an interview, man. It's had a good time. So I hope you had a good time as well. So we are very much happy that you could sit along and be part of this conversation. So we are closing up the episode, but we promise to bring you more guests and interesting topics. And I encourage you to share this episode, share it to other people. Perhaps you're out there and you want to accept Jesus Christ in your heart, in your life. You can relate to what Kunas is talking about. The emptiness, the brokenness, you are seeking for answers, you're seeking for love. Jesus Christ is the answer. And if you want to accept Him in your heart, the Bible says, confess with your mouth, believe in your heart, you shall be saved. And perhaps you want to pray, you can repeat this prayer after me. Say, Lord Jesus, I thank you that you love me. I thank you that you care for me. Right now, I acknowledge that I'm a sinner. Come into my heart, come live in me, come change me. I surrender and I give you my life, and I make a decision to follow you all the days of my life. I thank you for salvation. In Jesus' name we prayed. Amen. Praise God. So thank you very much once again. So please do share this video, share it with other people. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So furthermore, see you again.